Alright guys, welcome back for part 3. In part 3, I'm going to show you how to take your displays and connect them to your cameras. Okay, so I'm going to do this one kind of in a chopped up scenario because it takes a while and I don't want to have a stupid long video because it's literally just a bunch of soldering. I'll show you exactly how it's supposed to be wired and such. But step 1, we're going to cut this cable. This is probably too long, but I like to leave it a little long because it's easy to fuck this wire up that's inside here because it's really shitty wire. So just cut it here for now, and that should be fine because you can always roll it up and put it in there. Alright, so while we're clipping wires, this is your harness. This is for the Runcam Night Eagle 3. We're going to actually clip off this connector right here, and this is the female connector. That's the one you want to clip off. It's a 3-wire connector, yellow, black, and red. Do not clip that connector, do not clip that connector. Leave this blue wire alone for now. I want to note with this, once you clip it, you don't want to use a wire stripper like this. You don't. You absolutely do not use this, okay? And the reason why is these wires are so thin, they won't even show up, but they're so thin. When you use that stripper, it'll rip the wires out from inside and you'll have no connection in the harness, and then you'll be wondering why the hell your display doesn't work because it's not going to turn on and it's going to be a shit show. So take a razor blade and kind of just score this black sleeve and gently get that out of there, and then I recommend using a lighter and burning those colored wires. Once we get those out, using a lighter and just burning a little bit off of those that you're going to need, and using a lighter to strip them. That way you don't pull on anything. Alright, now that I got these shown out here, let me go over the wiring. So I'm going to try and build a wiring diagram that I'm going to put right here. Okay, that's cool. But so here's how it's going to go. Green to yellow, red to red. The blue from your camera is also going to go to your red, and then blue and white to black. And the way I like to do that is I like to use these like crimp-on connectors right here, and I will literally just put the 2 wires into the crimp-on connector and crimp them together. Or, you know what I mean? So put the all the negatives, which is the blue and white are negative, and connect those to this black negative wire into that crimp-on connector. And then I'll connect, I usually will just connect these directly to each other. The video wire, which is yellow and green, and then the blue and red from the camera to the red one on the display. That's your hot. I'll just use the connector for that one as well. And then we can assemble this whole harness and leave it out of the display. Leave it out of the tube for now. We don't want to put it into the tube until after we get the camera set up. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and start that process. Alright guys, this is how you're going to do it. You connect your green and yellow wire together, your 2 reds and the blue coming off the camera, and you're going to connect your white, blue and black on the other side. So should see how this goes together now. And what I did here is I have these micro JSTs which allow me to plug and unplug things, and I do a female side on the pods, and then I'll do a male side on the bridge. And I got little plastic connectors that go over top of these too, so they're actually little connectors. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to throw a little bit of electrical tape on this joint right here. I already soldered it up. Electrical tape there, and then on the bridge we're going to go ahead and attach male terminals here, and we can plug the sucker in and power it up. Alright guys, at this point I got my terminals already. I actually did find some heat shrink tube that was the right size for this. I just slipped it over there and haven't shrunk it, but I'm probably not gonna either. So what I actually am gonna do, just for testing, this. I'm not going to put the plastic connectors on here because once they're on, you have to take them back off to thread everything through once you're actually assembling it. So I just found some heat shrink that's about the same size. It'll not let me short anything out. So first, before we hook this up and test it, let's just one more time hook our battery up and check the voltages on these terminals and make sure that they are not over 5 volts. Do not put them over 5 volts. Alright guys, so we are in business. I don't want to move this around too much, so I don't want to short any wires out. But as you can see, we got a visual. So we can determine that the electronics on this side do work. So I'm going to go ahead and switch this off. And we can get to wiring up the other display. Alright guys, so here we are. We got one display wired up with the camera, and we got, make sure, double check, black to your negatives, red to your positives. I accidentally cut my positive like super short because I cut it when I was actually cutting the casing with the razor. The other side I haven't touched, I left it the same. Now we're gonna make sure nothing is fucking touching nothing. We don't want nothing shorting out because there's a lot of cha-ching hooked up right here. So we can get a battery in there and we're gonna power it on. Alright, so we got both displays and cameras powered on. If you have a camera that doesn't power on, or neither of the cameras power on and it's black, but it was working when it's just one hooked up, turn that voltage up on there just slightly. I checked my voltage on my multimeter and I'm running 4.91 volts, and that operates this whole system safely. And that's the most important part, safely. Alright, now I'm going to unhook all these connections and we're going to move on to the next step.